Welcome, everyone, to TechDaily.ai. I'm your host, David, and joining me today is our expert, Sophia.
It's great to be here. We have a massive story to unpack today.
We really do. But before we jump in, a quick message for everyone listening. You can sponsor this podcast for just $25. Your message will be featured across major platforms like Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, Spotify, and more. If you're interested, visit TechDaily.ai to get started today.
Nice and easy.
That's the idea. Okay, so let's get right into it. Take us back to yesterday evening, Tuesday, February 17th.
Right. So it's about 8 p.m. Eastern time, prime time.
There's a rush hour.
Exactly. People are done with work, maybe just finished dinner. You pull out your phone, open the app, and you're expecting that, that familiar wall of thumbnails. And instead, you get nothing.
We should be really specific here. This wasn't a loading spinner.
No.
It wasn't a 404 not found error page. It was something weirder.
It was. Reports from editors at Mashable, who were testing this from both the US and all the way over in Australia, they called it a UI skeleton.
That's such a perfect kind of creepy description.
It really is. You could see the sidebar with your subscriptions. You could see the search bar at the top.
The frame was there.
The frame was there, but the picture was gone. The whole main content area was just a blank black screen.
It's almost more unsettling than an error message, An error tells you something is broken.
Right.
A blank screen just stares back at you. It felt like digital silence.
And for almost 2 hours, YouTube, the biggest video platform on the planet, basically vanished for millions and millions of people.
So today, we're going to unpack what happened. We'll get into the timeline, the staggering numbers of people who noticed, and the official cause.
Which is the part that I think is really the headline here.
It totally is. But first, let's talk about the scale. Because when someone says YouTube is down, my first instinct is to check my own Wi-Fi.
Of course. You assume it's a you problem.
Exactly. But this was very clearly a them problem.
Yeah.
The data from Down Detector was just overwhelming.
Yeah, the numbers were huge. They logged a very specific figure. 837,973 error reports.
Just in the U.S.
Just in the U.S. alone.
And I want to pause on that number.
Yeah.
Because almost 1 million reports. I mean, who actually takes the time to report an outage?
Almost no one. You have to think about the iceberg rule here. When an app doesn't work, you don't go to a third-party website to file a report.
No, I complain out loud to no one and then open a different app.
Exactly. So if nearly 1 million people were frustrated enough to go and do that, the actual number of people affected had to be in the tens of millions.
Easily. And this wasn't just a U.S. problem, was it?
Not at all. We saw the exact same reports flooding in from Canada, from Brazil, the UK, Germany. It was a proper global event.
And it hit everyone. The breakdown of those reports showed it didn't really matter how you were trying to watch.
Nope. Mobile users got hit the hardest, which makes sense. About 46.7% of reports came from the app.
Okay.
But 21.1% were from the website itself. So phone, desktop, didn't matter. You got the same black screen.
So 8 p.m. ET. The screens go dark. What was the initial response like from YouTube? They must have been scrambling.
Well, their first response was, let's say, predictably corporate. They went to X, formerly Twitter.
I saw that first tweet. It was so vague.
It was the classic holding pattern. Hi, everyone. We're aware some of you are having issues.
Some of you? I love that.
Right. Some of you, as in tens of millions of you, it's designed to downplay it. They said their teams were on it. Standard stuff.
But then they gave us a little more detail in a second update.
They did. They acknowledged specific issues with the homepage, recommendations, search, and uploads.
Let's just list those again.
Yeah.
Homepage, recommendations, search, and uploads. That's not a feature. That's the entire platform. If you can't do any of those things, you don't have a video service.
You really don't. But the real aha moment, the thing that makes this so fascinating, came at 9:26 p.m. Eastern.
Okay, this is the part that got me.
Yeah.
Because usually an outage this big is, a cut fiber optic cable or a data center issue.
Some kind of physical infrastructure problem.
But YouTube admitted it was something else entirely.
They did. They came out and said the specific cause was an issue with their recommendation system.
The recommendation system.
That's what they said.
Okay, I really want to unpack this.
Yeah.
Because to me, that sounds wrong. The recommendation system is the thing that says, hey, watch this next.
Right.
If that breaks, why would the whole screen go black? Why not just show me, I don't know, my subscriptions or just a grid of trending videos?
And that is the million-dollar question. The answer tells you everything about how these platforms are built in 2026. The recommendation engine isn't just a feature anymore.
It's load-bearing.
It's completely load-bearing. You tend to think of the algorithm as like a helpful librarian suggesting a book.
Right. If the librarian's on a coffee break, you can still browse the shelves.
But that's not how it works now.
Yeah.
In YouTube's system, the algorithm isn't the librarian, it's the building itself. Or at least it's the entire lighting system.
So what you're saying is there is no default homepage anymore.
There isn't. Every single pixel on that homepage is put there because a piece of code decided it should be there specifically for you.
And if that decision-making process fails?
The front end has nothing to display. Doesn't know what to show you, so it shows you the skeleton. That black screen literally means the platform can't render content without the algorithm's instructions.
That's actually kind of terrifying. Yeah. It means we don't control what we see at all. The content doesn't exist to us unless the algorithm serves it up on a plate.
You've hit on the core of it. We've moved from an indexed web, where you could browse a directory, to a curated web. And if the curator calls in sick, the whole museum shuts down.
So how long did this paralysis last?
Thankfully, not too long. The outage started around 8 p.m. By about 9:15 p.m. Eastern, so a little over an hour later, reports started coming in that service was being restored.
The lights started flickering back on.
Yep. And then at 10:19 p.m., YouTube gave the official all clear. So all in all, about 2 hours of instability.
2 hours. In the grand scheme, it's a blip. But in the internet economy, that's an eternity.
It is. And it's not happening in a vacuum.
That's where I wanted to go next. Because this doesn't feel like a one-off. It feels like the big platforms are stumbling a bit more in early 2026.
You're definitely spotting a pattern. I mean, just go back a month. Friday, January 16th, 2026, X, formerly Twitter, had a massive outage.
Oh, right. I remember that. It went down hard.
It did. So in the first 6 weeks of the year, two of the absolute pillars of the social internet have had these major global disruptions.
It makes you wonder what's going on behind the scenes.
Yeah.
And with YouTube specifically, it feels like the whole platform is in a state of flux. They're changing so much.
They are. I mean, a platform that size is always evolving, but some of these recent changes are really fundamental.
Like the direct messaging thing.
Exactly. As of last November, we started hearing that YouTube is testing bringing back DMs.
Which is a total reversal, right?
Right.
They killed that feature years ago.
They did, back in 2019. The thinking then was to keep all conversations public, in the comments. But the strategy has shifted. Now it's all about retention.
They don't want you leaving the app to share a video.
They want you to share it and discuss it right there, inside their walls. But adding a feature like that back in, it's a huge engineering lift. It adds complexity.
And that's not the only big change.
Not even close. Think about the music data, the Billboard data.
Ah, yeah, this is a big one.
Huge. As of December 2025, YouTube stopped sending its streaming data to Billboard. For years, YouTube views helped artists climb the charts.
It was a form of currency.
It was. And now they've cut that off. It's like they're saying success on YouTube is just success on YouTube. We don't need the outside world to validate it.
It's like they're building a higher wall around their garden.
And that requires changing things in the back end. And then there was the rewind saga.
Oh, man. YouTube Rewind. In that same month, December, they unlisted all their old Rewind videos. I know those videos became a bit of a punching bag.
A bit. The 2018 one is still one of the most disliked videos in YouTube history.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
But to just erase them, it feels like scrubbing your own history.
Yeah, it is. But it all points to the same thing. They're rebuilding. They're reintegrating social features. They're severing old data pipelines. They're curating their own history.
It's like they're trying to renovate every room in the house while a billion people are still living in it.
Exactly. And in the middle of all that construction, the central nervous system, the recommendation engine just snaps. The outage was a symptom of all that internal pressure.
That's a great way to put it. It was a stress fracture.
Mm-hmm.
So let's bring this home for the listener. Why does this matter? The site came back. Does it really matter that the recommendation engine broke for 2 hours?
I think it matters more than we realize. This is a reality check on the whole idea of the cloud. We think of it as this, bulletproof, infinite thing.
But it's not magic. It's just code and servers.
And specifically, it's sorting code. Look, if the outage happened because the hard drives with the videos melted, that would make sense to us. The library burned down.
Right. But the library didn't burn down.
No, the books were all still on the shelves. We just weren't allowed to see them.
Because the librarian who hands you the books went offline.
Exactly. That black screen is the perfect visual metaphor. It proves that without the algorithm, the content is effectively invisible. There is literally nothing there for you if the AI doesn't serve it to you.
It's a complete loss of our own agency We're not browsing anymore. We're being fed.
We are dependents.
So just to recap for everyone, yesterday, February 17th, YouTube went dark globally for about 2 hours.
It affected pretty much the whole connected world. We saw nearly 1 million direct reports on Down Detector, meaning tens of millions were actually affected.
And the cause wasn't a server farm fire, but a failure in the recommendation system.
Proving that in 2026, the logic that sorts the content is just as important as the content itself, maybe even more so.
It's a powerful reminder that these platforms are more fragile than we think. Any final thoughts for us to chew on?
I do. I just want people to think about that black screen one more time. If the recommendation AI breaks, and because of that, the platform becomes completely unusable, does the platform even exist without that AI? In 2026, I think the answer is no. We've reached the point where the content and the algorithm that serves it are the same thing, and that is a very, very fragile place to be.
Does the platform even exist without the AI?
Yeah.
That is definitely going to stick with me. Thank you so much for breaking this all down.
My pleasure.
And thank you all for listening to this discussion on techdaily.ai. We'll catch you next time.